So, gentlemen, the floor is all yours.
I mean, to quote Luke Skywalker, everything you just said is wrong. Like literally everything. Your entire argument, Nathan, is I don't understand science, basically. I mean, where to start? Not how fluid dynamics work. Can you tell me how fluid dynamics work? I don't think you can. The higher...
Wait. Can we go through this point by point, Craig? So you want me to tell you how fluid dynamics work?
I mean, your claim is that's not how fluid dynamics work. So can you explain to me exactly how fluid dynamics work and the equations and stuff behind all that?
Okay. I'm here to give you evidence that the Earth is not a rotating ball. I'm not here to break down equations and show you how it all works. You can do that in your
you didn't give any evidence.
Spare time, Craig. So your question was fluid dynamics. Now, if the Earth rotated, there would be what's called a Coriolis effect. We do not observe.
Okay, what is the Coriolis effect? Please tell me what the Coriolis effect is, because I don't think you know.
I appreciate you asking nicely. I will gladly tell you what the Coriolis effect is. Coriolis effect states, and so if the Earth rotated, it would rotate under hot air balloons.
That's not what the Coriolis force is. You're wrong.
That you throw in the air.
Okay, I need to educate you on what the Coriolis force is, obviously, because you've no idea. The Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating under things. No one ever said it was. You are simply wrong with that assumption. The Coriolis force is about the law of conservation of momentum. And that is to do with the angular velocity of the Earth at certain latitudes. Now, if you're at the equator, the angular velocity is approximately 1,000 miles an hour. And if you were to go north, you would go into an area of lower angular velocity, meaning that you would maintain your angular momentum and drift ahead of the rotation. That is nothing to do with the Earth spinning underneath you. That is not what the Coriolis force is.
Okay, but you're alleging that the Earth rotates 1,040 miles an hour.
No. The Earth doesn't rotate 1,040 miles an hour. That is an angular velocity. The Earth rotates at about 15 degrees per hour.
Okay,
you don't rotate in miles per hour.
But if it's 24,901 miles around and it makes one rotation a day, then that would necessitate it's moving approximately 1,039 miles.
Yes. The angular velocity is the 1,000 odd miles an hour, not the rotation. The rotation is 15 degrees per hour. They are not the same thing.
Did you
understand that, right?
That the velocity is 1,039 miles per hour, Craig? Yes.
As I have stated many times, the rotation is not 1,030 miles an hour. The angular velocity is 1,030 miles an hour at the equator.
Excellent.
They are different things.
You said that nobody said Earth rotated under things. Now, are you familiar with who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, Craig?
Yes, but I'm not talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a science communicator who says things in a layman's way for people to understand. The Coriolis force, and you need to listen here because this is important, the Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating underneath something. It is the conservation of momentum when moving from one area of angular velocity to another. Okay? Stop saying stupid things.
Okay, Craig. So Neil deGrasse Tyson said that Earth rotated under a field goal. So I can't believe that you would ask me to give you evidence for a flat Earth. I'm telling you.
No. You haven't given evidence for a flat Earth. You've given your misunderstanding of what the Coriolis force is.
Craig,
and I am educating you on what the Coriolis force is. The Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating underneath something. The Coriolis force is the conservation of angular momentum.
So you will agree that Earth doesn't rotate under things?
Well, Earth rotates. The Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating underneath things.
Does the Earth rotate underneath things?
The Earth rotates, but that is not what the Coriolis force is, Nathan.
Craig,
does the Earth rotate in reference to the cosmic microwave background radiation? Yes, it does. But the Coriolis force, which is what we are talking about, is not the Earth rotating underneath things. Okay?
So you will agree the Earth does not rotate under hot air balloons, airplanes, balls of insects. Excellent. So now we're going to go from, there is a Coriolis force, guys, and I want to point this out, and please, Craig, don't interrupt me because I'm keeping track. You're at 4 interruptions already.
Yeah, lovely. Nathan, you don't ever shut up, okay?
Excellent.
If you get something wrong, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so because Craig believes in fairy tale, imagination, SpongeBob science, he'll say things like
Blah,
Earth
blah,
has a
blah.
Coriolis effect, but then he will also say things like the atmosphere moves with the Earth and the Earth doesn't rotate under things. Now, I already went over how if the atmosphere moves with the Earth, it would have to increase in velocity. Not only that, but we have jet streams moving 200 and 300 miles an hour east. Sometimes they're moving 200, 300 miles an hour west, which means they would be outpacing the speed of the Earth with this increase in velocity that we don't experience.
Are you ready to actually learn something now? Because again, everything you just said was wrong. The atmosphere, planes, insects, they all use the atmosphere to fly. And the Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating underneath things. And that is not me saying the Earth does not rotate, but that is just not what the Coriolis force is. The jet streams and all other weather patterns also rotate with the Earth. You can have a weather pattern where wind will be blowing north, south, east, west, but that entire weather pattern is also rotating with the Earth. You are correct in the assumption that the higher you go in the atmosphere, the angular velocity of that particular part of the atmosphere would be going faster. That's not an issue. But the atmosphere is so minutely off the surface of the Earth that that difference in velocity is barely noticeable. But that's not, it's all moving as one cohesive unit because of billions of years of rotation and friction of 15 degrees per hour. It's all about conservation of momentum and the sum of the forces that are there. You not understanding things is not evidence for the flat Earth. None of what you have said so far is evidence for the flat Earth. It's just you not understanding what the Coriolis force is. So to clarify, the Coriolis force is not the Earth rotating underneath things. The Coriolis force is to do with the conservation of momentum when moving from one area of angular velocity to another. This will, if you are on the equator going north, cause you to drift ahead of the rotation because you maintain a greater angular velocity. However, all the atmosphere is rotating with the Earth, and that's nothing to do with the Coriolis force. The Coriolis force, however, can help in the formation of hurricanes and things like that, and also explains why the hurricanes get ripped apart if they cross the equator.
All right, nennen.
So that was great. Craig conceded that the Earth does not rotate under objects.
I conceded nothing.
Concession.